Hi, it's Tom from T&B Tech. In this video, we're going to install an I2C temperature and humidity sensor into an existing SensorNode. So let's go. All right, we got our SensorNode here as before. Now there's already two sensors installed on it. There's this contact closure push button, and there's this PIR motion sensor. I'm going to now install this I2C temperature and humidity sensor. It's really kind of like an internal sensor, but you could make it go outside of the case with a longer wire. So let's do that. First thing you do to install this thing is you turn it off and you pop the top like before. Okay. Now the I2C sensor connects into one of these two connectors here. There's actually two connectors and they both work the same way. I've got a stemma/grove type connector here, which is keyed, which you can buy cables that connect in directly, and it's hard to screw that up. And this particular sensor has the connector on it. And I've also got a header here, which has got just 4 pins or 4 places on it for the 4 signals for I2C, which is data, clock, power, and ground. You just got to make sure you hook those things up properly, because if you don't, well, then you could blow up your sensor, or you could blow up your SensorNode, or you could blow up both. So you've been warned. Now the sensor we're going to use today is this one here. Let me bring it over here. It's an Adafruit AHT20, and it's the one that I curate, the one that I provide on the Kickstarter, but you can go buy it yourself from Adafruit. Probably cheaper, so I would consider doing that if I were you. But anyway, it's got both connectors on it. It's got this stemma connector there, and it's got a header for these 4 connectors. And I've designed the circuit board so that it accepts them directly. You just plug it right in and it's perfect. So that's what we're going to use. But you can go buy these sensors, AHT20 sensors, from anywhere. Amazon, AliExpress, and you can get them a lot cheaper, but they may not have exactly the same pin order. So be very careful. The pins may be ordered in a different way. They may not fit inside the case for the SensorNode because they might have to stick up, or who knows how they're going to be designed. So be careful about that. But to install this one is very simple. You've got the power off on the SensorNode. This is really plug and play. All you do is just take it, line up the connectors like that. Now it's very important that you get them plugged in properly, otherwise you'll short things out. But it's supposed to plug in just like that, and you can see it. And that's it. To finish install, you just turn it on. I'm going to leave the case off, but it doesn't need to have the case off for this. I turn it on. You don't need to go to the settings, the configuration server, because the way SensorNode, the code is written, it will auto-detect this particular sensor and then enumerate it over to Home Assistant. So it's the easiest thing to install. Okay, so we can see now the light is flashing. You can see the light flashing indicating it's on, it's attached to Home Assistant. I can go over to the dashboard here, and I can look now for 4 sensors. I've got contact closure, motion in this case, and the I2C comes up as 2 separate sensors. So if I scroll down, since it's an analog sensor, it won't be in this binary sensor section of the overview. It'll be in the sensor section right here. And you can see I2C humidity 3237. And that's it. It's already on. Its last update was a minute ago. And it's got the same ID. So it is 3237 YouTube demo. It's attached to that SensorNode. And there's also an I2C temperature 3237 that also shows up. And you can see that going and as well. In addition, I want to show you, if you go back to the sensor, the binary sensors section, you can see YouTube contact sensor is there. That's still working. If I hit the button, it will turn on. The motion sensor is still working because as I move to the contact sensor, it actually triggered the motion sensor. You see that going. So they're all still working. And if I go to the SensorNode device, the YouTube demo SensorNode device, and look at the attributes, now it will show the type as SensorNode contact / S2 motion / I2C temp / I2C humidity. 4 sensors concurrently reporting into Home Assistant from one SensorNode. I can go back to my custom dashboard that I created for this particular device, and you can see it here. And now it shows SensorNode 3237. It's got the button. Here's the motion. Let me put my hand in front of it for the motion, right? And then also the button, I can click the button. I can include it at any time. It'll show up. It doesn't wait. It's not sequential because it's going very fast. It's sitting there looking at all the sensors very, very fast. And also I2C temp and humidity are reporting out as well. So now there's 4 concurrent sensors on this sensor node. And that's it. That's how easy it is to install an I2C sensor on SensorNode. We now have 4 concurrent sensors on SensorNode, which is pretty cost effective. If you're interested in SensorNode, don't forget to click the link below to get access to the Kickstarter when we launch. And I hope you enjoy these videos. I may do more videos. I don't know. This may be the end before we actually launch. But keep in touch and stay tuned.